Yo, dudes. I got a countdown timer now, which is sweet, thanks to our good friend Robin leading me in the technological direction we needed. He knows all the good stuff. Corey, thank you. I'm glad I can be your favorite. Hey Spartan, what's up, buddy boy? Emily, you had an inclination I was gonna stream. That's good. We were connected at the stream seams. Morning Dest, what is happening? Hi Tracy. Hey Poison Ivy, good to see ya. Hey, Nunavut with the $5 right out the gate says Creeper. Aw, man. We're all creepers here. Thank you for the 5 though, it's very kind of you. Make sure I got everything set up right here. I don't know why I'm always kind of like there we go. Pop out chat for that. Pop out chat for that. It's nice because I can bring it over to this screen in case someone... Then I can see it because I have my other monitor over to my left, but it's kind of far away. So sometimes it's hard to read what it says with my old people eyes. Tiny Green Turtles, welcome, welcome. Carolyn Faulkner, you like the music? Yeah, this is the copyright-free playlist from College Music. So go check out College Music if you're into the chill hip-hop scene. Lo-fi. Hashtag cute. Lils with the $5 says, your streams instantly make my day better. Thank you for streaming. Hey, you're welcome. You guys make my day better by being here. We're almost at 150 people right out the gate, so I'm happy you guys can be here. Let's try and let everybody know what's happening, so feel free to share this link out to your friends on Twitter or wherever. And click that like button. Let YouTube know that this stream kicks booty ho. Brenda J says, can I stalk you? My mama always told me to follow my dreams. Hey, don't let your memes be dreams. Frederick Vlutter says, please read Captain Ketamine's story. What's that one about? Jasmine, you made it. Welcome. Jesus Saucedo with the 2 says, hi, Dad. Hello, son. And VT with the 2. Shout out to VT. Thank you, guys. You guys are incredibly generous right out the gate here. This is very kind of you. Greek Yogurt Vlog says, not how I washed for bed. And as soon as I got into bed, this starts. Uh-oh. Now you're going to be soiled from how spooked you are. Turtle Rave, you're playing some Minecraft right now? That's perfect. That's exactly what you should be doing during this stream. Enjoying a nice, relaxing block world. I saw PewDiePie apparently has been back on the train for Minecraft, and I find it interesting because his video views are shot up and he's killing it now. So maybe he's done with the edgy content and he's getting back to his roots. I think one of his first ever videos was him playing Minecraft. So. The Council of Nine says, our 3-year-old daughter stood up in her bed screaming last night, pointing down the hallway at something we couldn't see. So she slept with me. Freaked us out. Yeah, that would be really freaky. Melissa, what's good? What is happening? Diverse Blade is playing Destiny 2. Yeah, how is that? I feel like that's a game I hear a lot of people playing, but I never really seeing it pop up in 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 the old Twitch stream and all that kind of stuff. Virginia. Oh, Virginia. I don't know if that's spelled. It says you're so hot. Hey, you're hot. Yeah, hottie. You're all hotties here. Everyone's a hottie in Let's Read stream. Jesus with the 1. Thank you, Jesus. Angie, what's good? Yummy Bells, you finally got some data? That's good. Is it not connected to, maybe you're on your way to work or something like that. I wasn't sure if you were connected to Wi-Fi, so you weren't screwed on data. Brenda says as soon as she's finished watching a video, she needs to shower. I know, I just assume I make everybody poop their pants. Playing 2K before things get dark. Things are going to get real spooky tonight. We're just reading the good old True Scary Stories from Let's Not Meet. If you guys ever, submit one to my channel or to my subreddit, feel free to cross-post that over to Let's Not Meet or vice versa. Might as well get that internet karma if the story's good. Zoe, thank you for the 2. Says you're like a painfully sexy Ira Glass from Tal. I don't think I've ever watched Tal. What is that? But thank you. I try to be as painful as possible. Melissa with the 5 says, "Oh my God, I love listening to your voice, lol, and the stories in your voice." Thank you, Melissa. You guys are all kinds of making me feel good tonight. Council of 9 says, "It was freaky, man. She also has an imaginary friend named Jack. I wonder if it was him." I don't know. Sometimes I've read a lot of stories about imaginary friends with little kids and things they've seen, and sometimes it's almost like the imaginary friend seems to protect them or something like that, as weird as that might be. But also, sometimes that imaginary friend starts off friendly and as time goes on gets a little spookier. So I definitely believe you, my friend, and I suggest maybe getting somebody to look into praying for you, or, maybe chat will do it for you. Maybe they'll do it from a distance. Can I sing? I am not a singer. I mean, sometimes I feel like I can hit some bassy tones, you know what I mean? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, girl, yeah. But other than that, anything that's a high note is like, my voice is trash. I'm pretty much destined just to read. Zoe Marie with the 2 says, Tao equals This American Life. I've never watched that. Is that on the, is that their Netflix show or something? Hey Zeus with the 2 says, I work overnights, love listening to you at work. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you can listen overnight, because I used to work overnights at a hospital, and it was sometimes unbearable being stuck in there during the hours of 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Things would really, really slow down. Lils with the $5 says, pizza, pizza, pizza. Yeah, I'm just getting piled on right now. These dollar slices are just drowning me. Poison Ivy with the 2 says, can you upload more podcasts to iTunes, please? Yeah, so there was one this, I believe, past Monday, and then there's going to be another one to Spotify and Apple I used to think it was iTunes as well, but I mistakenly kept calling it that. But I guess, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's Apple Podcasts is essentially what that is. But I hope I've updated that down below. But yeah, there's a release this past Monday for Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and there will be one this coming Monday as well. So I hope to get on top of that more often, just to, hopefully show people that there's a lot more to be expected. Obviously, I think people kind of get there from the YouTube channel, but for those that don't, I think they would probably appreciate some more frequent uploads. So thank you for reminding me, though. Susie says, I'm amazed that a radio station hasn't contracted you to do a radio voice. People go to school, college for years to get their master, and you are a master. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is a weird thing sometimes, kind of like almost when you go to YouTube, it's like you're skipping over a few steps per se. Mornides says, I had an imaginary friendo growing up called Saren, who apparently kept telling me that 1, I need to join them, 2, I should get rid of my family, and 3, used to scream in my face at night. Oh my god. And do you not remember any of that? Because I would not want to remember any of that. It's actually very interesting. It's very interesting that would be kind of one of those blocked out memories, it seems. Hey Lizzie, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys for modding and telling chat all the good stuff. Millie C says, there are many great voices on the site, but none compare to you. I've tried to listen and falling asleep to others, but it doesn't work. I've had to re-listen to your stories because I'm too fast. That's funny. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad that my voice has filled a niche for you. Lauren Schmidt-Curdy, what's up? Dan Bacchus, can you do Deep Web co-videos of Deep Web with Unit 522? Yeah, maybe down the line. Deep Web's kind of been one of those things that's kind of been blacklisted from YouTube. One of the untypable words. So it's kind of been avoided. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people have many true Deep Web experiences. It seems most of them are kind of baseline no sleep. Christopher says, Rainfall, Let's Read, and Iced Tea, the perfect trifecta. I love those pictures where it's like someone takes a picture of like a bunch of numbers lining up, like the time on the thing says 4:20, their speedometer says like 666, and like I don't even know, like some number on a sign says like Route 69 or something. They're just like the trifecta. Ooh, I'm getting some storm here. I'm hearing that thunder roll. But yeah, guys, we'll be starting here in, as you can see on screen, 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So, Turtle Rave, the song in the background is it's on College Music. I can even copy it in the chat. It's called Michal Burden, produced by Skinny Atlas. But these are the copyright-free songs that are available on College Music, the YouTube channel. Great channel, a lot of great songs on there. Really appreciate that they have stuff to use for streams. Super awesome. Mornides, I missed your little follow-up there, but it says, nope, I don't remember. It's just vague memories of the name, but my sister told me about it. It scared the crap out of me when she told me. Yeah, that is seriously spooky. Vay T with the 5 buckaroonies says, I literally only listen to you. I can't stand other narrators, lol. Can't start my morning without this. Enamored. No, there's a hashtag. I almost didn't recognize that word, but I really appreciate it, Vay. Thank you. I'm glad I can be that voice for you. Can I say yee yee? A yee yee. Big Mike, I'm doing good. Turtle Rave says, one more question. Well, yeah, you just asked that question. That's what I'm here for the first 20 minutes. And also, guys, yeah, don't hesitate to ask me any questions that you have, because I got nothing else to do but read you guys some stories and answer some Q&A. Turtle Rave says, do you like Crab Rave? I do. I don't think I could listen to it forever, and eventually it could become one of those songs where you're like stuck in hell and that's like all you hear. But someone mentioned something about crabs yesterday, and I surprisingly, coincidentally sent them that Crab Rave song just to be funny, and I was thinking like, man, that song might not be quite as popular as it is if it wasn't for the fact that the YouTube or the video to go with it was literally crabs raving. So I suggest anyone else who wants to get their music out there to make a cool, memeable video. Corey Edmonds, welcome back, Corey, with the 5 Canadian maple syrup dollars, says, how long has this channel been going? I've been missing out. I love listening to this while I fall asleep. So I've honestly only been streaming for I guess about 16 minutes here, but the channel itself has been around since August 2014. So we've definitely come a long way thanks to you guys just sharing videos and just being return subscribers and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much. Monica Cerna with the huge $20 dono says, hey, just making up for missed streams here. Well, thank you, Monica. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Spartan says, imaginary friend stories. Next video category? Maybe? Now that would be a good one. I don't know how spooky that would come off to the average viewer, but I'm sure we could figure it out. Candy Kane with the $8 says, thank you so much for all your hard work and dedication just to keep us all entertained with that beautiful voice. Well, thank you, Candy. Thank you for the 8 buckaroonies. I will do my best, and I'm going to keep growing the channel. I've been looking for, obviously, I honestly very much appreciate you guys coming to streams and donating and all that kind of stuff and just being here. But I've been, due to the sort of unpredictability of, YouTube's monetization system, I've been looking into more sponsorships and that kind of thing. So looking into, websites such as, what's it called? Grapevine Logic and that kind of thing. So, and if anybody has any suggestions for other sites, my hope is that by doing advertisements with my voice, it'll be less of the advertisements that are thrown in the video. And, hopefully it'll maybe even go unnoticed because it won't be like some sudden fluctuation in sound, where you're... Hey, Corey Edmonds became a member. Everybody welcome our full-grown pizza Corey. Thank you, Corey. And Brittany McMullen with the 4. Thank you, Brittany. Do I like waffles? Oh, believe me, I like waffles. But when I go to breakfast places, I feel like I tend to end up getting pancakes more often than waffles. But there's something about waffles that definitely has, to me, I feel like a lot more value than a pancake. Not always. I definitely consider them equal in the sort of carbohydrates of breakfast, but yeah, I'm all about that waffle life. Nicole Riley, I'm really proud of you. Worked so hard and I've followed you since 1K. I love you. Thank you, Nicole. That's so crazy. 1K, man, we have come a long way. Spartan says, can I get a kawak? Kawak. Melissa's... Yeah, thank you, Corey, for becoming a member. That's very cool. I've been seeing a lot of people become members, and I'm going to have to look into if there's any more special benefits I can give to members, because I would love to start making a bunch of cool little emojis or something like the Twitch, like them there Twitch people do, But yeah, we got 30 seconds till we start streaming, guys. Jamie, what's up, Jamie? Jamie says, waffles, waffles, waffles. Teen Titans, go. Burger King foot lettuce. Oh, Chills, you are the man. I wonder if Chills ever watches this stream. Because he is the bee's knees. Withered Fox, we're in the end game now. Alright. So we're going to switch over to creepy mode. That sounds very creepy, huh? Creepy mode. That was perfectly timed with the music, yeah. So this is the amazing Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse in the background playing dark ambient. Let me know if you want me to turn that up a little bit or turn it down to set the mood. And the background art on both sort of scenes, you could say, was done by our great friend Robin Mikalsen. He's linked down below. Same with Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse with the background music. But if you guys have a story that you want to hear readited on a future video, such as the subscriber videos, up on the top right you can see send it to reddit.com/let's read official. Hi Kashi, what's up? Welcome. You have arrived just in time. We haven't even started getting into it yet. Thank you, Gothic, for linking that. I appreciate it. Spartan, that is a new background by the good old Robin. He's working overtime lately. Hey, anxiety and depression, what's good? Scary clown stories. I believe I have some of those. Margaret Chung says, twice now your stories have saved my bacon. Got paranoid and hyper alert from the stories. I work out in a park by my house. Got chased by a chick with a knife 2 months ago, and today got chased again. Jesus. Sounds like you need to get some John Wick training in or something. What the heck's going on with those people? Are they murderers or just crackheads? So this first story is called The Reason I Won't Be Alone on My College Campus. Which I need to figure out what's the reasoning about. What's all that about? I'm going to scoot these windows over just a tad so I can read them. The story is of my brief friendship with the guy that stalked me. Okay. Well, that's cool, kind of interesting. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people sometimes write these stories out for a sense of closure, so a bit of cathartic release, which I know some psychologists say, like, when you go through traumatic events, it's not always the best thing to relive them through writing, but some would argue otherwise. Just depends on what you think would be best for yourself. I started my freshman year of college at a university in my hometown that's pretty nice. I'm not going to share too much about it, but it has a smaller amount of students, but enough that you don't really run into people too often. I lived on campus, and I was only 17 at the time. I had Tinder, of course, as I was fresh out of a relationship and looking to experience new things in college. I matched with this one boy, Asher, who seemed nice enough. Pretty socially awkward, but I never really minded because I have anxiety issues myself, and I'm really sympathetic to it. Because of that, I ignored a lot of the warning signs I should have. We texted for a while, and he seemed really nice and caring. He wanted to know a lot about me, which I wasn't too keen on sharing, but I told him the basics, and we texted kind of regularly. He lived on campus as well and invited me to hang out. At that time, things didn't seem too sketchy, so I was completely down. When I first met him, that's when things started to get uncomfortable. We hung out in his dorm, which was pretty standard overall. I got cozy with him on his couch. I'd say almost cuddling, but not quite. Still really standard. When we started talking more, I realized how uncomfortable things really were. He kept making comments that just put me off, but I tried to ignore them. Things like, I've never cuddled with anyone before. Sorry if I'm doing it wrong. And so many comments about how he really liked me a lot and wanted me to stay forever. Weird word choice, but whatever. He's just trying to be nice. I'll let him down easy, I thought. I ended that hangout pretty quickly for some fake excuse and went right back to my room. He kept texting me and professing how much he was into me, and I told him, sorry, but I'm not looking for any kind of relationship, so I do not want to keep things romantic. A bad lie, but I'm very non-confrontational and didn't want to be mean. That's when things started to get really weird. He sent me this long paragraph saying about how it was okay I didn't want a relationship now, that he'd wait for me and save his virginity for me. We had never talked anything like that before. I had never even really told him I liked him or even flirted back. I just never turned him down. It was one of the creepiest messages I'd ever received. Unfortunately, that was just the start of all the weird things to come. He wouldn't leave me alone, even though I kept trying to de-escalate things, and I kept running into him all over campus. I wasn't sure how he suddenly was nearby when classes ended, and I wasn't sure why suddenly we'd both be in the dining hall at the same times, even though I hadn't changed my regular routine, but I just tried to brush it off. Definitely a mistake. I ended up turning him down completely because I was getting creeped out and couldn't figure out how he wasn't understanding that I didn't want anything romantic with him. He started guilt-tripping me, telling me about how he was going to hurt himself and no one was ever going to love him. I've been in manipulative relationships in the past, and I recognized that behavior right away and shut it down. I told him I couldn't be friends with him, and in my head, that was that. He didn't reply for a while, but when he did, everything went to chaos. I was luckily out of town at the time for a concert, so that made me feel a lot better. He went off, sent me paragraph after paragraph about how horrible of a person I was, and how I was just all these terrible names and needed to be put in my place. Regular nice guy things. I could handle that, I just ignored it. Then, once the regret set in, he made it his mission to win my love however possible. He apologized profusely, told me how he couldn't be all alone and I was his only friend, and how much he loved me. Whatever. Terrible, but I didn't care about that. Then, I guess to prove his dedication, he did the creepiest thing yet. First, he told me he was outside of my room. We did not live in the same dorm building, and you can't get into the buildings unless you live there. I don't know who let him in. I wasn't there, and my roommate was out, so that was okay. I texted back at that point and told him to leave and how wrong and creepy that was, and he pulled out his last resort. He just sent me screenshots of my contact in his phone. On Apple devices, you can fill in tons of information and have a note section. Everything was entirely full. He knew my home address, my room number on campus, my parents' and brother's names, my pets' names, my schedule. It was terrifying because I'm a fairly private person. My Instagram is my only social media and I do not share that much on it. I don't think I'll ever find out how he discovered all of that about me. I blocked him on everything right away and reported him to the school. The school did nothing at all. I still see him on campus and he still tries to approach me when he sees me. I always duck and run, and it's worked so far. To the terrifying Tinder match, who may still be following me around to this day, please leave me alone. Well, shit. Dude, I kind of stoked that I was able to get through that story without making a mistake, so that's kind of sweet. Even at the end, not a big fan of like the whole let's not meet ending, so I just kind of like made up something there. But yeah, that's creepy. I mean, I guess a lot of people kind of, hopefully that kid grows out of that sort of psychotic type behavior. But yeah, you do have to be careful if you guys are starting out on Tinder or something. It's definitely not always going to be the place you want to go. I've known some people that have, met people and, legitimate relationships on Tinder and stuff, even though they just tell people they met online on I guess, a more socially acceptable website. Fries, what's up? Welcome to the Stram. Daniela Zuleta, Jolina. That is my alter ego. I know, Spartan, not making a mistake means I get -1, so we're at -1 right now. What does he do when he makes mistakes? Reread the whole thing, or does he edit magic to fit the parts together? Yeah, I definitely don't reread the whole thing. That would be actually painful yeah, I basically just start back from a part where a previous sentence and then just edit everything together afterwards. Eric, you're home. Erica, homesick from work. Oh, homesick from work. I thought you were like homesick from work. Like you were at work and you were homesick. And I was like, I definitely feel that. Beth, I am afraid to make a mistake because Hunter Spartan will jump down my throat and pull out my tongue. And I won't even be able to read ever again. Alright, so let's see how this one's called. Security guards are supposed to protect people, not stalk them. Initially, I was going to read this for my most recent video about bodyguards, but then I'm like, oh wait, that's not a bodyguard, that's a security guard. Let's read dating site. Yeah, you're in it right now. This and the Discords where you're going to meet your significant other there. Oh, Micah, hello. Hello. I'm a female, 23 now. In the story, I was 21 with a 4-month-old baby. He's mine and he's 2 now. I'm about 5'9", a bit overweight, and I have social anxiety around new people. I went with my sister, 26, 5 feet tall, to her work as she worked at a very nice restaurant in a shopping center, and we went straight there for her 6 p.m. start after being in the city all day, collecting money for a cat rescue. I'm just chilling out, eating good food and binging on Reddit when I decide I want to smoke. I know, bad habit. So I pack up the kidlit and let my sister know I'm going out to the car to park to have a smoke as she passes through the dining area. The car park was about 70 meters away from the restaurant, had good lighting, and because it was so late, I could hang around near the doors. This is where it gets creepy. The security guard was doing his rounds, about my height and Indian. Not a racist, but most of my experiences with Indians in particular have not been very... Oh, shit. I'm gonna have to omit that part, I guess. I'm not racist, but here's a very long-winded reason why. This is where it gets creepy. The security guard was doing his rounds, about my height and Indian. He decides to check on me. That's cool, man. I'm just having a smoke. And the conversation went something like this. Wait, what? Me? Oh, okay. They're just lit. I was like, me, SG, security guard. And just like confused. Okay. He decides to check on me. I mean, that's cool, man. I'm just having a smoke. And the conversation went something like this. How you doing? You okay? I'm pretty good, just waiting for my sister to get off of work. Good. Your baby? Very cute baby. I have 4 at home. You got a husband? Yes, he's my baby. That's good. I have a fiancé. A complete lie. I was 100% single, but he was already making me anxious. I can be husband. I look after baby for you. I look after you. No thanks. I'm sure your wife wouldn't appreciate that. No. Wife love baby. Wife will love you. You come home with me? I finish my smoke. Oops. I finish my smoke, been moving the pram further away from him each second. No thanks, I'm going now. He then follows me inside. I go all around the mostly closed shopping center, hoping to lose him in Kohl's. I lost him for about 5 seconds, but Kohl's had shut for the night. The only place left open was my sister's work, so I went back there even though I didn't want him to know where I was. As I was about to walk into the restaurant, I saw him coming up the escalator. He was still watching me. I take the last 2 steps towards the hostess, who happened to be the owner's daughter, and told her what was going on. At this point, the security guard is standing in front of the restaurant, still staring at me. The hostess takes me to a semi-secluded booth and goes to talk to her dad about the situation. As she's gone, creepy security guard came into the dining area, searched for me, and then came and sat in my booth, way too close to me and my child. "How old you?" "I want to ravish you pretty women. You be mother to my babies. We make cute babies." At this point, it was very clear that I was very uncomfortable, and he still made it worse. "Don't worry, I security, I protect you and baby." He's reaching across the table with one hand now. The other hand is reaching towards my pram. I'm frozen. I don't care about the hand near me, I'm watching the other one. Nobody touches my baby. I'm about to snap, go full mama bear mode when the owner, 40s to 50s, 6 foot plus, big wide build of the restaurant steps in asking if there's a problem. "Is there a problem?" Oh, whoops. "Is there a problem here?" English is not his native language, but he gets the point across. His English skills deteriorate when he gets angry. This is important to the story, I promise. No problem, just talking to my lovely lady." "This is a customer. Has she done something wrong?" No, never. She's my lady. See, we're going to get married." He begins to grin creepily. The silent warning to play along is etched into his face. Finding comfort in the presence of the manager. "Please just leave me alone. I just want to eat my dinner." "Oh, funny lady. See, we joke." I don't know you. Please just leave me alone." "She says she wants you to leave now." "She's just messing. She loves me. I've been waiting for you, my pretty lady." He leaves at that point. The manager makes sure I'm okay and moves to the employee break room and fills my sister in. 2 hours later, and my sister has finished her shift. We pack up and head to the car. SG, the security guard, out of nowhere, he was actually waiting for me. "I take pretty lady and baby home now. Come on, pretty lady, we go home." Like an angel steps out from his car. Right behind the security guard, she's going home with her... What? This is weird. Oh, this is the dude. Oh yeah, this is the manager steps in. Sorry, it's like... Lynn Tillman with a 5 says, "Would you shout out to Fish and Fox for me? That's my baby. And we love your live readings." She's on vacation and listening. I'm at home listening. Oh, that's cool. Well, shout out to Fish and Fox. I hope you're having a good vacay. I hope you guys get together again soon here. Grand séance. Like an angel, the manager steps out from his car, right behind the security guard. Shit, my voice cracked. Can you imagine if I had to take a shot every time I messed up? I would be actually dead. I might actually be dead. That would be kind of an interesting stream. I don't really drink ever, so that would be a really bad... Man, that would be bad. Lily Schuff with the 5 says, "Chased off a real-life creep today. Been telling my gal pals to listen to this podcast, and it helped her identify a creep. We chased him off." Oh, nice. Well, that's good. I'm glad I can be of assistance in the learning experience so you guys don't have to go through with it. But yeah, you should definitely write that story down and submit it, because that sounds quite creepy. Can I do a stream like that? I might just. I don't know. Oh boy. I just end up leaving in the middle of it because I threw up or something like that. Like an angel steps out from his car, right behind the security guard. She's going home. With her sister. Oh, pretty lady mine. She come home with me. Get in the car. I take care of this. So we get in the car and go home. Found out the next day from my sister that her boss had physically restrained the security guard because he went to grab my arm as I was getting in the car, and then got him fired and permanently banned from that shopping center. Let's read is saving lives out here. Well, you can thank each other because you guys are the ones that send in the stories, so it's really just your experiences creating those recognition patterns for people to, prevent anything from happening. I guess, what is it? The best medicine is or what is it? A pound of cure or an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or something like that. So, best to keep yourself from ever getting in a situation like that before you even get there. Lila, okay, serious weird question, but why is the shampoo I'm using making my hair all crusty? Because, that's definitely not normal. I wonder... are you conditioning afterwards? Or... because sometimes certain shampoos can have reactions on your skin. Like if you're super sensitive and dry you out. Okay, Daniela says you have dandruff and the shampoo you're using is drying your scalp out. Yeah, most likely you just need to find, I'm sure you guys know better than I do because I'm lucky to even still be able to use shampoo. But yeah, it definitely sounds like it's pretty dried out. An ounce of butter is worth a ton of love. That's true. Use Suave. Suave for ladies. Lila says you use conditioner. Interesting. SD says, how do I send a story? I had a close encounter where guns had to be drawn. I'm legally allowed to conceal carry, by the way. Yeah, you can send it on screen. You can see it says reddit.com/r/let's-read-official. That link is also down below. Yeah, just feel free to submit it there and tag it as a true story and make sure your grammar is nice and punctual. God bless America. Yeah, be sure to hit that like button, guys. We're going to get up to 400 here soon. Welcome to everybody who's just kind of rolling in. Maya says, Paul Mitchell shampoos and conditioners are the best. No Suave. What's my thoughts on Mr. Nightmare? He's a beast, man. He was the first to do it, and he knew what he was doing. Is there a way to do via voice call? I'm so lazy to type. I think sometimes you can, on Reddit, if your phone has like a push to type or like voice to text type feature, you can. It might actually end up taking you longer, honestly, compared to typing, but you can try it and just say like new paragraph or something, and it might do it. Taco sacrifice, yes. In my mid-20s, I was bouncing around. I couldn't settle on what to do, and after a long and terrible relationship, was mostly interested in having fun. I was at university, but wasn't the most committed student. I'd been working in a restaurant and a hotel, but hated it. And a friend told me about working as a receptionist in a brothel. It's completely legal where I live, and said the money was decent. It fit in well with university. It wasn't difficult, and if clients were rude, you could just kick them out. Unlike hospitality, where you had to be polite all the time. I found a place that was looking for receptionists and went for an interview and got a job. And it was fine. I mean, not the most interesting job in the world, but it paid okay. I could smoke out the back when cigarettes didn't cost $50 a pack. I could study if it was quiet. And I know what everyone is thinking at this point. Receptionist is code for worker, and I promise it isn't. I have no proof, but lying about it doesn't make the story any better. In fact, if I were one of the workers or the ladies of the night there, it might be an even more interesting story. Sadly, no such excitement in my life. We had regular clients, and they all had reputations of some kind. This guy only books half an hour, but always extends his bookings at least once. This guy will pay extra for dirty talk, and a lot of it was innocuous, just information passed between people that we, as receptionists, always heard all about. But some of it was more along the lines of a warning. This guy will try and remove... This guy will try and remove the protection. This guy wants to spank but won't ask first. And then there was the doctor. The doctor had a lot of money and would potentially book multiple workers for a long time. He paid well for reasonably boring extras, like fancy lingerie or role play, aka nurses' uniforms. But he had a big red warning sign above his head. The first time he came in, one of the other receptionists warned me, no one has to do an intro with him if they don't want to. Warn the girls it's the doctor. I called the intro, i.e. I went into the staff room and said intro in meeting room 1, which generally meant that every available worker should go in, say their name, flirt, whatever, after which one of the receptionists would find out who they wanted to see and how long for, and all the workers stood up and then said, "It's the doctor," and all but 2 sat back down. So I immediately asked what the deal is, and they explained that he likes cocaine. He likes workers who like or pretend to like it as well, and he is a neurosurgeon who gets access to all sorts of weird stuff, and often his use is far from pure. Not cut with drain cleaner, but cut with pharmaceuticals like anesthetics used for surgery. He also enjoyed drug insertion. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. He was sometimes belligerent if workers refuse him after they've started the booking, and he was just creepy. When we go in to check with him, he'd try and grab us, make us, the receptionist, sit down, and to be clear, I'm not what people would consider attractive. Plus, he'd do it with all the receptionists. He'd grab our hands and try and stroke our arms. He had this super intense stare, like a mannequin that could actually make eye contact. I know that sounds weird, but it's hard to describe. It's like he was staring right into you, but also not seeing you at all. His expressions were weird and just didn't work on his face. Like his mouth would smile or move, but his eyes would change from that intense stare. I guess it might have been what he was on, but it was deeply unsettling and just made you feel sick. Having said all that, there were a few experienced workers who knew how to handle him. Get the most out of him whilst experiencing the least possible risk. It's possible to fake snorting something. I didn't know this before that point, hence giving workers the option to meet the client. I can't remember if he saw anyone that first time. If I recall correctly, he had a handful of bookings in the time I was working there. We did have strict instructions not to ever let anyone do an out call with him. This is booking at anywhere other than the brothel. Plus, we had a few other Wait, what? Someone say cocaine? Yeah, I'm wondering if YouTube's gonna axe me for that one. But it seems like it's pretty necessary to the story. I can't remember if anyone's first time. Plus, we had a few other harm minimization strategies. Interesting. I haven't seen that word in forever. I haven't heard that word in quite some time. Plus, we had a few other harm minimization strategies. Then, after a while, one of the workers who was okay with seeing him left to go traveling and no one else would see him, so he gradually stopped coming in as no one would intro him. I moved on to receptioning at a different brothel. A new one had opened closer to where I lived and the pay was better, and he showed up again there. I knew he would frequent all the places he could, until his reputation overtook him. When he showed up at the new place, I told all the workers about him, and no one was okay with seeing him. He only tried a couple more times before he abandoned us. A year or so later, I had moved on to a different job. I couldn't do night shifts anymore, and I was chatting with a friend from the brothel who said, "Oh my God, did you hear about the doctor? He ended his own life." Oh, whoops. He killed someone and got arrested. Let's see. Killed synonyms. Eliminate, terminate, dispatch, finish off, put to death, take away, do away. Destroy, put an end, extinguish, dash, quell, ruin, wreck, frustrate, thwart, put a stop to. Hey Dave, what's up? Good to see you guys. Oh yeah, we hit 400. Thank you guys. We are moving right along here. He deprived of life someone. He slayed someone. He butchered somebody. Jeez. Whack is slang. He whacked somebody. That sounds more like terminology. He whacked someone, yeah. Oh my God, did you hear about the doctor? He whacked someone and got arrested. And it was true. The doctor had done that to a worker who had been sent to his apartment. The worker lay dead in his bed for 2 days. Officially, it was manslaughter, and he also pled guilty to supplying the substance that ended another worker. All this happened because A, he's a terrible dumpster fire human, and B, because one awful brothel manager, because one awful brothel manager, and the owners behind her, put profits in front of safety and kept sending workers to bookings with him without giving them full warnings, and specifically sending inexperienced workers, and without keeping them in-house. It later came out that the medical board had known of his addiction for many years prior to his arrest, and it helped cover up some botched surgeries. It was horrifying to hear about, and we both spent some time telling stories we knew about him, but then I mostly forgot about it. Then I was chatting with an old friend the other day who reminded me of him, and I got on Google. I found out that he's been released from prison. I hope not practicing medicine, but he could be anywhere now. Dude, that's a pretty heavy story. I don't think I've ever heard, Yeah. It's kind of unpredictable with YouTube stuff because, I mean, for real, it's like literally so unpredictable. I've heard people say the most innocuous stuff and get demonetized, so I almost feel like it's just like random happenstance. Sean Tomlinson says, "What's up, Joel? I can't believe I'm late. Had to go to Walmart on the way home from work. I work at Ups, and tonight we had a mercury spill, so UPS. A mercury spill, and had to have hazmat come in, so we all got to go home with pay." Holy cow, mercury spill. What in the world? Debelic Heart. Well, yeah, the too long didn't read, so murdering, drug addicted, now free, former neurosurgeon. Let's not meet again. Danza, how's CrossFit been? Uh-oh, you don't want to get me on that topic. It's been good. Today was a tough one because it was like a longer workout where we just kind of went into it, and I didn't properly warm up to what I felt that I should have prior to going into the movements. And we were doing this one movement with like 250-pound like dumbbells called thrusters, where you basically go into a squat, and then as you're coming from your squat, you like press your, it's like a shoulder press up. And normally what I do is I'm pretty thorough about like stretching my hips, my hamstrings, and legs and that kind of thing. And it sort of just opens up that area that takes a lot of tension. And usually I feel like pretty good to go, you know what I mean? But today I didn't really, we kind of just jumped into it, and we're kind of using the movements as we went almost as a warm-up, which wasn't smart. And then I kind of felt a bit of a tightness in my like left sort of gluteal area into my hip, and which I think for me is like sort of a sciatic pain, and usually goes away after I sort of massage and or stretch and all that good stuff that you should be doing before and after. But it was so distracting during the workout that I just kind of felt like I just got sort of dejected. Like whenever if you're doing a workout with people and you kind of feel like you're not off to a good start, I sort of lose my momentum or like mental focus. And even though physically I didn't feel like the workout should have challenged me that much, it was like just because my back was kind of like sore essentially on that left side that I'm like, I don't even feel like pushing this hard. So it was kind of a slow one for me, just kind of grinded it out, chipped away at it. But do Pilates, wonder how it feels to do it. I don't know. What is Pilates again? Lila, do you get your Halloween decorations out for every stream? Just pull them out and surround yourself in them. All right, so fortunate timing to see someone hide behind my RV. Uh-oh. Also, sometimes I get back from like the gym and I kind of like get a little bit lightheaded, and like drinking water isn't the greatest. Jay Wilson, Joel, dummy thick. But I got these chicken broth K-cups, believe it or not, from Amazon. And you make like a cup of that, instead of tea. And it just like replenishes your sodium that you lost, and drink some water with it too. And you feel wonders better. Like a lot of people do lifting and they think it's all about the protein or whatever. But then you're like, oh shoot, all my electrolytes, just like Gatorade always told me, need to be replaced. So a cup of soup can go a long way. Oh yeah, guys, subscribe to Gothic Rose. She is a horror narrator as well, great one, and she's been an amazing moderator here. So thank you to Gothic Rose, and I hope you guys go check her out if you're looking for an awesome horror narrating channel. Brenda, try to drink a gallon of water every day. That's good. Do I take protein shakes? I don't really do protein powders anymore, because a lot of protein powders are kind of like they're high in protein, but they're low in carbohydrates. And I don't always like if I were to make a protein shake, I don't really usually mix them with any fats, because usually your body like ingests proteins with eggs or meats and that kind of thing. Usually there's a fat that tends to go with it, which helps like your body digest the proteins, and is important for, I guess, your hormones that are released, but also like your gallbladder breaking down things. And the one difficult thing for me is that if you take in too much protein, your body kind of shoots up your insulin in response to all of that protein, and then that kind of has a strange effect on your gallbladder, which then can lead to gallstones. I feel like my science behind it is not well explained right now, but it was just something I've looked into. But I've sort of learned that from looking into the keto diet, which I've tried here and there. My one big mistake that I think I made was I was taking a bunch of protein, you know, drinks and stuff without getting the proper fats that I needed, but also kind of over ingesting a lot of nuts. And I feel as if though my gallbladder kind of had an odd response to that because I sort of had like a referred pain in my right, under my like right scapula. There, if you have a referred pain there, it's usually related to like your gallbladder. If you like sit down and there's pressure on it, which, yeah, it's definitely, nowadays I just think getting the appropriate protein you need comes down to just ingesting natural, sources like meats and eggs and things of that nature. Just trying to get a balanced diet without trying to supplement too many things. Mix your protein with dry porridge oats. I never had that before. Sounds good. Time to lube up the lips with my aquifer. If you have a pain, just drink whiskey. Mortadesk, you over ingest nuts too. Yeah, you gotta be careful. I had an encounter in December of last year that left me feeling very unsettled. I was in a vulnerable position as my partner and I, both female and homeless, had just purchased an RV to live in, but were having trouble finding a spot to rent because it was an older model and we have pets. We parked in the farthest corner of the Walmart parking lot in Bend, Oregon around 10 a.m. one day. My partner had errands that needed to be ran and took a bus to do such as I held down the fort and watched the dogs. It was going to be a long day of waiting around for her to get back so we could leave. I went into the store twice to make some purchases earlier in the day. I worked on some maintenance and art before getting bored enough to take a nap. As I was taking the dogs outside beforehand, 2 police officer vehicles pulled up and parked right next to the RV. At this point, I'm preparing for them to ask me to move the vehicle or tell me I can't park overnight or something. After a while of nothing, I fell asleep anyway. When I woke up, I could tell it was getting toward the evening. The sun was still very much up, and considering the police presence, I wasn't particularly in the mindset of anything bad happening. Still, I always carry my pepper spray on me. My partner was not back yet, although I expected her late. She had our only phone, so I went into the store to check the time. The officers had moved already at this point, and the parking in the general area was pretty barren, save for one van parked in the spot right next. Shit. Alright, save for... What am I thinking? Oh, okay. The officers had already moved at this point, and the parking in the general area was pretty barren, save for one van parked in the spot right behind the RV. I entered the store and went to the restroom in the front. Then I walked to the electronics department to see what time it was on the displays. It was a few minutes before 6 p.m. I left after only having been in there a few minutes. As I was walking out the door, the crowd in front of me slowly dispersed to veer toward their respective vehicles. I continued walking behind one man who seemingly parked in the same direction as me. He was tall, thin, and scraggly with shoulder-length blonde hair and a black hoodie. I walked maybe 30 feet behind him the whole way. As he passed all the cars by the front of the store, I came to the conclusion that he must be the owner of the van by my RV. He walked with clear direction, not looking around for where his car was or anything. After passing the main crowd of the parking lot, thicker than a bowl. It says here that you said she was thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Yes, sir. After passing the main crowd of the parking lot, I got my pepper spray out of my pocket and held it in hand as a routine safety measure. The man walked between the back of the RV and the driver's side door of the van. I figured he was about to get in, but instead he lingered. I stopped walking in that direction and headed toward a more populated parking area at the next store across the street, since it was closer than Walmart from his end. Then he looked at me, and we made eye contact for a minute. It felt like he recognized me, as if though he'd been stalking me out and was surprised to see me leaving the store so soon. I continued to walk away while staring at him, and he watched me before slipping around the side of my RV where there were some bushes and a fence with no outlet. I got out at this point, so I got into the other store and walked around blankly staring at things for a bit, trying to formulate a plan. It's pretty busy in there with no one at this customer server shite. It's not Scottish, it's crap. Crap. It is pretty impressive how those guys can really roll that deep R. Crap. I can't do it. Crap. It's impossible. It's impossible. Just gargled some hot sauce. Let's freaking go, bro. Oh, wait. Oh, my roommate is currently taking a shower. So it's going to come through on my microphone. Not this one, but my recording microphone. It's Fanta TV says, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Fanta TV, what kind of content do you make on YouTube's? Spartan Hunter Righteous, you speak Scottish? You speak? I don't believe you. I actually don't believe you. I am pre-gaming with the hot sauce. I'm going ham. Scottish descent. UK people say, are you thick or what? Are you thick or what? Ghost Pepper Podcast. Thick scald, thick in the hiney, thick in the skull. J Stash, how long am I streaming? It's kind of up in the air. I usually stream for about 2 hours or so. Usually gets done maybe around midnight, but still kind of up in the air about which story I'm going to be stopping at here tonight. Definitely got at least 3 more. Confused Reviews with the 2 says, keep it up, bub. Thank you, Confused. Are you doing reviews? Fanta TV says, I don't really make videos. I only have one, but it's Fortnite. Oh, okay. But you got the name. You're ready in case things start to go down. Slapped ham. You can slap my hams. Some people are going to get drunk the night with shots. I wonder how many mistakes it is now. Oh yeah, I definitely hope my mistakes aren't causing you guys to take actual shots, because that would be death. That would be actual death. The Let's Die stream. Spartan says, my mom's side of the family is descended from Scotland, Ireland, and Welsh territory. Also, her maiden name is O'Neill. Well, that doesn't mean that you can speak Scottish. Got it? You gotta prove it. Oh, Park and Spank. Oh, Park and Spark. That's funny. I've never heard that, actually. Joel knows what I'm talking about. War is the worst town you've ever been in. Sean says, yeah, I know, right? I mean, what company is shipping raw mercury? How does that stuff break open at all? I'm wondering who was the first to see that and spill, and how much the company had to pay out. Oh, Sean, I feel like that was from a while ago, unless you were talking to somebody else about it. I feel like that was a very delayed, unless you had my stream on pause and came back. I should live stream me getting hammed on the weekend. No, yeah. No longer much ham getting here. No hams getting slapped. No getting of the ham. Okay, Mornides. She can speak Welsh and Gaelic. Okay, that's what I figured. I kept saying Scottish, and I'm like, I know that's not the right language. Another good calming voice is Peter Draws. Interesting. Is that an ASMR channel or just a drawing channel? Gaelic. I remember, what's her name? Enya. This one girl I dated for like a week in 8th grade. She, really liked Enya. So I went and got her a CD and a nice little jewelry thing that I could afford with my $25 for her birthday in October, I remember. And it was all so cute, and I brought it up to her and I said, oh yeah, this is Enya. The guy at the store told me it was Gaelic. And she thought I was saying, like, the guy at the store said it was gay. And she's like, it's not Gaelic. It's not Gaelic. She just sings. Alright, guys. Shower's done. Let's rock and roll. It's pretty busy in there with no one at the customer service desk, so I go into the gas station next door and ask to use the phone. I call my partner to explain the situation and tell her not to go directly to the RV. Then I headed back into Walmart, got a coffee at the McDonald's inside, and waited there for another hour till she was able to return. Perhaps I should have called the police, as I was worried about my animals. The little dog would bark, but they're not guard dogs, and my possessions being stolen. But I had recently called 911, witnessing domestic violence a few days prior, only to have them take 2 hours to show up in the middle of downtown. I was worried they would not only not help, but possibly harass me for parking there. I don't have a driver's license, so having to move the RV before my partner returned would be a dangerous situation. When she arrived, we went to the RV together. The van was gone. Nothing was touched, despite one of the windows not locking properly, but the pets were very spooked. Maybe they decided against stealing after I caught them. But I'm not well off, and honestly, one look at that beat-up old thing would tell you I don't have much worth taking. Honestly, just from the look in that guy's eyes, I felt like he wasn't after material possessions. Angie says, "You're my daddy." We'll have to do a DNA test to figure that one out. We'll have to go on Maury. You are the daddy. Weird question. Has anyone here ever almost been kidnapped? Ruh-roh. That is a weird question, but I'm interested now too. What do you guys say? I'm an American living in France. At the time of this incident, I was working in a hotel kitchen for a 5-star hotel. I had to drive 30 minutes, catch a 30-minute metro, and then walk another 10 minutes to get to and from this hotel. I'd work from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. The boss was an idiot, and the customers were uppity idiots who thought 5-star meant that staff are not human. Basically, it sucked. One day I was having a particularly terrible shift. My hair was gross, my face was numb from smiling at rude customers, and all I wanted was to go home, take a shower, and go to sleep. So I put my earphones in and waited for the metro. At this stop it was super busy, so the metro opened from both doors, letting people get on one side and off the other. The rest of the stops weren't as busy, so they only opened on the opposite side so people could get out. When the metro arrived, I stepped on and stopped next to the door that wouldn't open again, knowing I could lean back for the rest of the trip. Then, a man in an electric wheelchair rolled on, and he stopped just in front of the same doors I was planning to lean against. He had a couple of bags hanging from the back of his chair, and he wasn't pulled up enough so the doors would shut on his bags. I knew the doors would close and remain closed, so instead of just telling him to pull up a bit, I held the bags forward a bit so that they wouldn't get caught in the door. The door closed, I let go, and the guy smiled at me. Then he started talking to me. I had my earphones in so I couldn't hear what he said. I was exhausted, but I'm a nice person, so I took them out and talked to him. He clearly had a disability, as his speech was pretty hard to understand. My French isn't bad, but it wasn't good enough to understand him. So I told him, I'm sorry, I don't speak French. He immediately switched to English. I thought. But again, I'm nice, so I kept talking to him. It was a normal conversation. Where are you from? What are you doing here? How long you been here? Yada, yada, yada. Then he said, You're beautiful. Are you getting off at X? I was a little weirded out, but I said no, I'm getting off at W, which is one stop before. He said get off at X with me. You can come over and we can hang out. I politely declined, and he said, Kiss me. Oh, forget it, I thought. I said no and put my earphones back in, ignoring him. He kept talking, but I couldn't hear him, and I was blatantly ignoring him. Then he pushed a loud buzzer on his chair to get my attention. Everyone was looking at us now, and I would have looked like a jerk if I'd kept ignoring him. So I pulled my earphones out, and he kept trying to talk to me, asking me if I had a boyfriend, if I wanted to be his girlfriend, if I would kiss him. Keep in mind that I'm like 20 at this point, and he's a solid 50. Finally, my stop arrives. I say goodbye, and he rolls out of the metro with me. I told him this isn't his stop, and he said, I'm coming home with you. I was thoroughly creeped out, but I figured I could ditch him easily at this point. We were 2 floors underground, and I could easily run up the stairs before he get on the elevator. Feeling like a complete idiot for trying to ditch this shit. Sorry. Oh, your friend, you were almost kidnapped together when we were 12 in a lake clubhouse late at night. I've never been that scared in my life. I didn't sleep for days. I was scared he was still watching us. Yikes. Okay, I was thoroughly creeped out. We were 2 floors. Okay. I was thoroughly creeped out, but I figured I could ditch him easily at this point. We were 2 floors underground, and I could easily run up the stairs before he could get on the elevator. Feeling like a complete idiot for trying to ditch a disabled guy, I stick to my plan, sprinting up the stairs, tripping a few times as I do. I get up to the ground floor and walk outside, satisfied that he's gone. As I'm walking to my car, I hear that buzz. He's behind me, zooming pretty fast after me. I start running, terrified of this dude who will not leave me alone. I get to my car and I'm so freaked out that my hands are shaking and I have trouble getting the keys in the car. Finally, I do. I hop in and put it in reverse. When I check the mirror, there he is, parked behind my car and buzzing at me. I don't know what to do at this point. I can't reverse and run him over. I'm certainly not getting out to talk to him, but I have to get home, so I can't just sit there all day. This standoff lasted for about 10 minutes before he finally just strolls away, glaring at me as he does. I peel out of there and drive home, shaken but satisfied that I'd seen the last of that guy. The next morning, as I pull into the parking lot, still sleepy but ready for work, I get out of the car, get down to the metro, and there he is, waiting on the platform. I'd forgotten that the day before I told him that I work every day from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. He knew I would be there, and he knew when. He smiled when he saw me and started rolling over. I book it back up the stairs, calling my boss on the way and telling him that I'll be late to work. I end up just driving into the city, wasting gas and spending a ton of money on parking. I haven't seen him again, and I've since started going to a different metro station. There are a few other stations that I can park at, but they're sketchy. This guy had very limited movement. He could only use his fingers enough to move the chair, so I know there's probably nothing he could have done to hurt me, and he was probably just a lonely guy who wanted someone to talk to. But I still panic every time I see a wheelchair. Oh man, that's sad. I know it's creepy for the guy, but I was just imagining myself like at the age of 50 and like every time I go to talk to someone, some girl just has like a literal panic attack. Ah! Ah! I just wanted a stick of gum. My breath is stinky. Trying to catch me riding dirty. Jackie Knight Shift, what up, what up? Jester, I was kidnapped when I was 8. They returned me after a couple of minutes. That's scary. Wonder what the deal with that is. It's Fanta. Most of your friends do drungs. You don't like it? Yeah, drungs are no good. They can definitely have a lot of negative effects on people's lives. When are you doing a face reveal? You can find my face on Discord in the selfies channel. A lot of nice angles, too, for you to take a peek at. Jaws theme plays as the wheelchair rolls up. That'd be so funny. Darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it. Sean, thank you. Trying my best here. Trying me best. Hey, yo. Yes. Please send your stories to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. Jolena got a great profile. Thank you. I'm trying to get that dummy thick, though. Alright, so. When I was growing up, we lived in Baltimore City until I turned 12. This incident happened, I believe, when I was around 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was definitely before I turned 9 because my older brother left for boot camp and then later deployed when I was 9. Both my brother and mother were and are in the military, and he was still at home and not yet in the military when this happened. Also, I am mute. I was born with deformed vocal cords, which isn't super important, but it does affect the story somewhat. Our house was only 6 blocks from my school, and I would walk home by myself on some days. Sometimes my brother would meet me at my school and walk me home, but he played football and baseball and sometimes would be at his school for practice. My mother worked 12-hour shifts as a nurse, so some days she would pick me up, others she wouldn't. Of course, she wasn't too keen on me walking home, but me being a stupid and naive kid had nagged her enough to where she finally let me walk home on those days instead of taking the bus. It was only 6 blocks, and again, being a kid, it made me feel mature and responsible. I know, stupid me. My mother has always been worried about predators, like most parents are, but she worried that me being mute would make me an easier target since I can't scream. I do always carry a whistle around my neck, and the importance of stranger danger has been drilled into me by my mom. She also had me learning self-defense since I was 4, but again, I was only 7 or 8 at the time, and I hadn't exactly mastered any of these skills. On the day of this event, I was walking home by myself. I was a very lonely kid who didn't have any friends. I'm not announcing that for pity or anything, just to help you understand why I was alone. I usually did a pretty good job of being mindful of my surroundings, but again, I was a kid and my mind would sometimes wander and daydream like any other normal kid. I was about halfway home when it happened. I was passing by a narrow alleyway and out of nowhere I felt myself grabbed very roughly from behind. I felt my body just freeze up in panic. One thing I remember very vividly was the odor. This guy smelled terrible, just awful BO. Like nasty old gym socks that you left in the bottom of your locker and forgot about them until the end of the school year or something. I could feel his hot, horrible breath against the back of my head and neck. He was breathing heavy, like a dog does when it's hot out. He didn't say a word. I just remember his arms wrapped so tightly around me. Looking back now, I realize he must have been watching me for a while because he never tried to cover my mouth. He must have known that I was mute. Even though it was just a few seconds, it felt like time slowed. I couldn't move, like my brain just wouldn't tell my body to move or something. I remember seeing the sidewalk get further away as he pulled me back into the alley. Finally, my body woke up, and I started flailing as hard as I could. I don't know if he was actually strong or if he was just because of his age, but his grip felt like it was going to crush me. I kept trying to reach my hand up to grab my whistle and try to get it in my mouth, but my arms were pinned at my sides with his arms around me. I was kicking my legs as hard as I could. I felt so helpless. No matter how hard I tried, I could not break free, not even a little bit. I remember a thought flashing in my head that this was the kind of thing my mom and teachers had always warned us about. It made me even more scared. I tried kicking my heels back into him, hoping maybe I'd get lucky and nail a shin or something. No such luck. It just made him squeeze me tighter. He was squeezing so tight I could barely breathe. I guess it was the combination of being squeezed like that and the fear of what was happening. But I started feeling dizzy and faint. And that was the most terrifying moment because I felt like if everything went black that I'd never wake up again. My head was starting to droop down and I could feel myself getting very weak. From out on the street, I heard someone scream, and I managed to raise my eyes and saw two figures running towards us and yelling. The guy holding me immediately let me go. I had been up in the air and kind of landed on the concrete in a heap, gasping. I was shaking so hard. My backpack felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I could hear the footsteps of the two people running towards us and the footsteps of the other guy running away down the other side of the alley. I could feel one of them tear past me. I felt the breeze as he passed and even heard the sound of it in my ear. The other person must not have wanted to leave me there and stopped. I was still in this daze, a little dizzy and in some kind of shock, I guess. I felt their hand touch my shoulder and ask if I was okay. This jolted me out of the daze and I just bolted. I didn't look at them or anything. I just took off down the alleyway and sprinted to our house. I got inside, locked the door, and just collapsed into a ball in the foyer. All my emotions caught up with me then, and I just sobbed and sobbed. I laid there for what felt like forever. I was still there when my brother came in from practice. I was still very visibly upset, and he immediately wanted to know what was wrong. I explained what happened, though I'm sure it was not nearly as coherent as the way I'm telling you now, since I was still extremely shook up. He called the police immediately, and then my mom. My brother was a decently sized guy, and I'm sure he wanted to hurt the smelly guy down, but he sat on the steps with me in his lap until the police came. The police in that area don't exactly have the best response times, but they actually arrived fairly quickly. My mom got there shortly after they did. Of course, out of her mind with worry and anger. My mother and... My mom got there shortly after they did. Of course, out of her mind with worry and anger. My brother and mom helped me relay to the police what happened. I communicate through ASL and they translate to the police for me. Since I couldn't give a description, I never actually saw the guy. They said they'd be on the lookout for anyone acting suspicious, but the chances of finding him were extremely slim. However, it turns out the two guys that ran into the alley to help me had called the police as well and were able to give somewhat of a description, though apparently the guy had a knit cap with a hood up as well, so unless he was wearing the same clothes, he'd be hard to find. To be honest, I don't think the police really took it that seriously overall, since Baltimore is a pretty dangerous place, and way worse crimes happen there constantly. They gave me the whole "be careful from now on" speech and left. My mother and brother checked in with them pretty regularly for quite a while, but they never found the guy. Needless to say, my mom definitely didn't let me walk home by myself anymore. I began taking the bus, which would drop me off right at our house, and my brother worked it out with his coaches that he could be home when I got home. We ended up moving to Washington State a few years later when I was 12, and I only go back to Baltimore every once a year or so to visit my grandparents, though I never went back to our old neighborhood again. I hate to think about what would have happened to me had those two guys not run into that alleyway after me. Thank you to them. I'm eternally grateful. That's one thing I always kind of wonder is whenever you hear someone in trouble, like, will you respond? You know what I mean? Will you be prepared to help people, you know? Because some people, like, as I've read in stories before, just seem to kind of like shut themselves down when they see other people around, but maybe it was the fact that he was, I don't really know. Maybe it was the fact that they only, it was just the two of them and no one else was around, that they felt more inspired. But yeah. Alex B, there's just one more story left. Dylan, I'm not going to share that comment, but that's very scary. Yeah, fight or flight. Yeah, the bystander effect, it's weird. Is anyone a doctor, not a cokehead doctor? It's Fanta. I am in my 20s, yes. Currently 29. On the tail end of 20s. So this one's about a cruise ship. Did you get chased down by a creep when you were 8? No, I may have been. Maybe I needed that for my speed training. Your dad's a gastroenterologist. That's cool. Any rich old men over the age of 90 with a lot of life insurance money in the chat. That's funny. She's a gold digger. Lily says, I always ask people, whose victim are you? Because the answer should be a resounding no one's. Reptilian research, you never go on a cruise ship? Yeah, I went on a cruise earlier in May, and, it was, I just didn't like the rocking. Like, even though I had Dramamine and stuff, I just felt like the rocking would not stop. Like, it was just, and like, the only thing to really do on a cruise, since I didn't really know the people I was with, like, super duper well, I feel like you could only really drink, and I'm not, like, super big into drinking. So it's just kind of like, felt like I was just kind of out of my element. Mickey, you're here. I'm on time. You are just in time for the last story, Mickey. I'm so sorry. Maybe I could, if you guys take a vote, maybe I'll do another one for you, just for old Mickey's sake. I was on a cruise ship for Thanksgiving and went with my entire family. As an attempt to get away from my brothers, I stayed in my grandparents' cabin. On the first day of the cruise ship, I walked around meeting people, and some of the people I met were really into basketball, as I was. So we set up a scrimmage late at night, so we could all eat dinner and whatnot. The only problem was that the basketball courts closed at 7, so we would have to sneak in. My little group was playing every day and became my late-night routine. Skip forward to the last night on board where my group was playing a pickup game as we always did. I felt a buzz from my pocket, so I stopped playing for a second and read my text message. It was from an unknown number saying to go check on your grandparents. So not thinking twice, I said goodnight to my friends and went to my floor. After the long walk and the elevator ride, I made it to my floor. I arrived on the complete opposite side of my room, so it was a long walk. As I was walking, I see this tattooed man staring at me on my left side. I am a paranoid person, so of course I admittedly thought something was going to happen. We walked past each other, no problem, but he stops and says, "Excuse me, did you see the gentleman who came out of this room?" And I replied, "No." The mini-conversation was over. We both went our ways, so I thought. I took a glance behind, and now he was walking in my direction. I sort of slowed down to see if he will pass, but when he gets close enough, I remark, "I'm such an idiot, my room is on the other side." The creepy man looks a little angry and says, "You're lying. Your room's at the front. Here, let me take you to your grandparents." My face turned white. However, I knew what would lie ahead of me if I went with him, so I took off running. I looked behind me to see if he was chasing me, but he wasn't, so I stopped running and started walking. I was relieved until I heard loud footsteps, so I looked behind me once again, and it was the man, chasing after me, so I started to run again. The man caught up and grabbed me, but for some reason I was so scared I couldn't let out a scream. I was hoping someone would come out of their room to save me, but like I said, it was the middle of the night and nobody was around. He took me to this room where there was no furniture. I looked in and there was this woman sitting on the ground in the shadows. I could tell she was overweight. The guy shoved me in and told the lady, "My shift is over, I'm going to sleep." The dark figure nodded. Again, I was still in complete shock. My legs felt like 300-pound weights. The woman grabbed me and said, "I'm getting married soon, so this is the last amount of fun I'm going to have." Don't forget, I was a minor at this time. My vision was fading in and out. I thought I was going to collapse, but suddenly the buffet was coming up in my stomach and I threw up on her. After that, I left the room and sprinted all the way to my grandparents' room. I got in there, double-bolted the locks. My grandparents woke up and said, "Was everything okay?" And I was thinking, let me spill my guts over what just happened. However, I said the security guard found my friends playing basketball, so we all ran from him. They said okay and went back to sleep. Meanwhile, I just stayed in the bathroom all night, not because of the buffet, but I was terrified. The guy must have been stalking me and seen me go to my room with my grandparents over the few on board. So I was really freaked out, thinking he knew my room. He stayed up all night, but there were no problems. I stayed up all night, I stayed up all night, but there were no problems. My family created a plan to go to brunch in the dining hall. So we all got up at 8 and went there. The waiter was taking us to our seats. I was scanning the area when I noticed the same man who chased me yesterday with an overweight woman and a couple of other goons. They saw me too, so they all started staring at me. My whole family went to be seated, but I was in the middle of a staring contest. Luckily, my mom saw me and saw what was going on. My mom looked at me and then looked at the table and said, "That guy with all the tattoos proposed to the girl a few nights back." I said out loud, "Oh my God." My mom hit me again and said, "Hey, watch your mouth and go sit down." I ended up sitting down, so my back was to the table of creeps. I never said a word about what happened that night, and I don't plan on telling my family because I'm worried they won't take me to cruises in the future. However, I was texting my new friends from the basketball courts and told them what happened that night. One of them said, "I was chased by the same man. However, I was able to outrun him before he caught me." I was a bit relieved I got that off my chest and wasn't alone in my situation. I still didn't decide to tell anyone else. I really don't understand how these people got my phone number. But to the tattoo head... What the fuck? To the tattoo head... I really don't understand how these people got my phone number. Yeah, Gothic, how many subs are you up to there? Also, guys, hit the like button as we get into this last story here. Oh, lordy lord. Lordy lord. Reading these spooky stories really does take it out of a boy. So this one's called Love of Your Life. No thank you. Tattoo Man. Jordan asks, Joel, what is your favorite stories to read, if you have a favorite? I like the ghost stories. I mean, they don't do as well as these stalker stories do, but they're just more interesting to me because they're weird. Also, that one story, if you guys remember, like a few videos back, was about a story. Oh, Gothic, 701. Nice. Congrats. Congrats. Let's get her to 800, guys. All 462 people that are here right now, go subscribe to Gothic Rose. Let's get her to over 1,000. Yeah, but there was that story about, like, that South American village that was kind of plagued by lights and, like, people were getting, like, darts and stuff shot into them or something like that. Oh, Lila loves when I burp. It's like her favorite part of the stream. Sydney, thank you. But yeah, that one about the lights and the military, like, it just sounded so possible, you know what I mean? Even though it was so far-fetched. So that was a really cool one. I like the alien stories, especially when they're, like, in, you know, widespread. It was like freaking signs or something. Who else loves Cheetos? Yeah, Cheetos is pretty good. I was in a relationship with whom at the time I thought was the perfect man for me. We traveled all the time and discovered a lot of incredible places together. We were madly in love. People could see it. Strangers stopped us on the street to comment on what a radiant couple we were. Just after our 3rd anniversary together, he decided he was sick of living in the suburbs and would be moving downtown, closer to his business. He asked for my input, so we went to look at apartments one day. We walked into a dream place. After seeing some really terrible ones, he got down on one knee and said, "I knew you would love it. It's ours already. Would you marry me?" Of course I said yes. I was bursting with happiness. We moved in straight away, the most blissful 6 months of my life. We planned an awesome wedding. It was a dream. I had just been laid off of my job, so I had plenty of time to be a homemaker, and he appreciated it. He thanked me every morning for his breakfast and clean clothes. He fantasized about our future children and all the great things we'd do together. Then one night he came home from work, a different person. He refused to even touch me or look me in the eye. Out of nowhere he said, "This is not what I want for myself. Give me the ring back and leave, please." It made no sense, but he wouldn't talk to me. He let me grab a coat, handbag, and money from my drawer and told me a cab would be ready downstairs. He literally pushed me out the door as I cried and begged for an explanation. I had nowhere to go, but he didn't care. I ended up in my mother's house screaming hysterically. My whole world had collapsed. He refused all my calls. All my possessions were in that apartment, and he didn't care. I had to borrow clothes from my sister, take hand-me-downs from friends. Never recovered any of it. The wedding cancellation fell on me too. It didn't take long to find out that he had been seeing someone else and she became pregnant, and they married 3 weeks. Whoa, shit, this is a mega oof. A mega oof, 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 oof. Carly, do a face reveal. Ooh, wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you like that? What if I didn't have a face? What if I'm just a pair of lips? Just lips. Just a pair of lips sitting on a desk in front of a mic. It's really awkward editing sometimes, being only lips. It didn't take long to find out that he had been seeing someone else and she became pregnant. They married 3 weeks after he kicked me out. I fell into a deep depression and lost the will to live. I was skeletally thin and my mother made me go inpatient and work on moving on. It took about 6 months before I actually started leaving the house and interacting with people again. And then it happened. He started incessantly calling and texting me, non-stop. 60 texts per day. Can we talk? Can we meet? I just need to see you. I miss you so much. I knew I didn't have the mental strength to face him, so I just ignored it. A barrage of emails followed. He made a mistake and wanted to get back together, pick up where we left. What? He was married with a baby on the way. He didn't just get drunk and kiss a stranger, but that was his whole attitude. I didn't reply. He started sending pricey gifts to my mother's house. I asked her to decline them all, say she didn't know where I was. His emails became deranged rants. This woman had scammed him, forced him, threatened him. He never meant to cheat on me, let alone leave me. He didn't even know how he had ended up marrying her. He actually hated her. I honestly wondered if he was hooked on hard drugs or something. Then my friends started complaining. My ex, his employees, his brother and or cousin had started contacting them to try and set up a surprise meeting with me to fix things. It was unnerving. His friends turned up at my sister's workplace. His cousin followed my mother in a mall. My best friend was being followed constantly. He somehow found out where I was receiving therapy and turned up a few times, demanding information on my treatment and appointments. Police had to be called. I started to fear for my safety and became extremely paranoid. He left me a voicemail detailing how his wife was in labor, but as soon as she was done, he was filing for divorce. Could we please meet that night? He appealed to a lot of our happy memories and then with no remorse said, "The kid can have my name, but I want nothing to do with him ever. I just want you and our days road tripping. I miss everything about you, all the time." It felt so callous and manipulative. I replied in a text, "Stop looking for me. Stop calling, just stop. Now go tend to your wife and love your firstborn." This somehow made things worse. Almost everywhere I went, a black van would be waiting for me. I recognized his employee. He looked sadly at me and gestured, "I'm sorry." His instructions were to follow me until we found my new boyfriend and to convince me to go back. His wife and baby had been kicked out of the apartment and he was waiting for me. He wouldn't give up on us. This man was everywhere I went. My mental health declined rapidly. Finally, I decided to get away on a long vacation and save my sanity. I shut down all my social media and took a cab to the airport at midnight. Not 6 hours after landing in Vancouver, I had a string of emails from him demanding to know where I was. He had also flown to Vancouver and... Am I saying that right? Vancouver? Vancouver. Vancouver? Night, Jordan. Sleepy, sleepy. Hey, thanks. Thanks, guys. I hate everything about you. Why do I love... Alright, let me, I don't know why I'm, like, spacing on this. I've heard it said 1,000 times. Vancouver, but for some reason I feel like I'm saying it weirdly. Saying it kind of weirdly. Hey, Lils with the $2 says, "I'll take a shot for every mistake Joel makes." Dude, we're up to like 20-some shots there. I hope you're ready to die. Just kidding. Thank you for that, too. Honestly, I feel like I could do a stream where I take a shot for every maybe... I want to say 10 mistakes. For every 10 mistakes I make, but I've been getting pretty good lately, and I feel like I would only be 2 shots in over the course of 2 hours, and it would be kind of boring. But who knows? Who knows if we'll do that? I also would hate if I got really belligerent. Van Cougar. Sand Cougar. Now that's it. Alright. Finally, I decided to go on a long vacay. Finally, I decided to get away on a long vacation and save my sanity. I shut down all my social media and took a cab to the airport at midnight. Not 6 hours after landing in Vancouver, I had a string of emails from him demanding to know where I was. He had also flown to Vancouver and would not quit. He also flew to Vancouver and would not quit until we met and got back together. I couldn't believe it. Hoping he wouldn't figure out the rest of my itinerary, I told him I was willing to meet up at Stanley Park and arrange a time, which was the time my next flight left for New Zealand. Things turned for me since then, and I ended up moving here. I'd be lying if I said I didn't do it to get away from him, that insanity he was putting me through. It's been 10 years, and only recently did he tone it down. He stalked me on Twitter for a while, tracked my government job email, came to Auckland twice in hopes of bumping into me, and occasionally still sends me messages regretting the fact that we won't be together forever, that my daughter is not his child, and assuring me I'll always be the love of his life. Dude, that was like the most heavy story I've not the most heavy story, but that was really sad. Lils with the 2 says, I can drink a whole bottle of tequila and not get buzzed. Prove it. Prove it. But don't actually prove it, because I don't want you to. Are you one to drink, to eat that there little scorpion? Do you know what I do? I just have a bottle of all scorpions. And I just eat all the soaked scorpions. Be Smiley, what up, what up? You're watching a simulation theory debate. Forgot about our Let's Read Tuesdays. Oh, no, that's okay. What is that about? Simulation theory debate. Corey Edmonds with the 20 Canadian maple syrup bucks says, good job. Thank you, Corey. Thank you for your donation. And thank you for being becoming a full-grown pizza earlier and being a member. Holly's on that wine. She on that wine shit. Yeah, I'm bringing the hard feels tonight. You've eaten a scorpion lollipop before. It was nasty. Angie Fitza said, there was a guy I was texting a couple of weeks. We were flirting back and forth, and he tells me he has a girlfriend. What a freaking joik. We're living in a simulation. I don't know. People say that, but it's like there's nothing really to back it. Mickey, if you're late next time, you're going to snap your own neck. That's okay. We'll do it for you. The Matrix was a documentary. I mean, I could see... Oh, I think we got to about 500 viewers here tonight, which is pretty ballin'. But I would like to chat for a bit. Guys, I would like to chat for a bit. Oh, Jen, what the frick, dude? What the frickin' freak? You're late. And I even gave you a warning. You missed everything. You've missed it all. Lils with the 2 says, I'm not eating scorpions. Alright. That's fine. We'll save them for me. What does a scorpion taste like? It's probably crunchy. It is a scary creature, because I remember I was reading a Reddit post or something about some guy who had a terrible experience where their house was infested with, like, scorpions. And, he would just be chilling, and all of a sudden one would just like crawl up into his bed and sting him just for the sheer sake of stinging him. You know what I mean? Oh, Brooke, you got no car accident today. You're laying here listening to the back all fucked up. Sorry about that. Shoot. That sucks. I'm sorry. The new Joe Rogan podcast with Bob Lazar was quite compelling. Bob Lazar, I know that name. Where do I know that name from? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Didn't we talk about this guy before? Bob Lazar, American business, film processor, pyrotechnician, and owner of the United Nuclear Scientific Equipment and Supplies, Wikipedia. Oh. I know some people said he was a quack. Jen with the 10 says, I had to mow my lawn unless you're coming to do it. I could. $10, probably enough to pay me to do that. But I don't know how far away I'd be traveling. I actually mow Area 51's lawn. Keep it nice and pristine. Oh, that's right. He talked about reverse engineering Area 51 flying saucers and tech like that. Dude, that would be pretty interesting. I think I might go listen to that Joe Rogan podcast. But first, let me take some DMT, bro. Also, did you ever just like think about wrestling a chimp? Don't even think about it. It would freaking destroy you. That chimp would destroy you. That was a quote from the Joseph Rogan. Hoshiko Yuri. Sleep well. We're all getting into Area 51, guys. Oh, Dylan, thanks for subscribing to Gothic Rose. I know she appreciates that. Oh, eating crickets or insects, but earthworms, nah. Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I've seen information about, like, different insects, like grubs and things like that, have similar amounts of protein, almost more so than conventional meats like beef and chicken and pork. And, the sort of manner in which we would store them essentially would be in drawers, where you could just open up your drawer and pull out a handful of grubs and just eat it. And it would be as much protein as like a handful of chicken. And I know that sounds disgusting, but for those individuals who are against the inhumane treatment of chickens and cows and yada yada yada, I feel like culturally speaking, I think any culture can kind of get used to anything over a period of time. And I feel if we were somehow able to normalize eating bugs, it would totally be chill, dude. Yeah, dude, eat some bugs, man. But dude, just dip those bugs in butter, put them in your socks, let them writhe around. All right. What if they have like bug ASMR where like bugs are crawling on your head or something? Okay. You knew a guy who beat a chimp. It was a small chimp, but he won. Yeah, I remember that. Like, I remember hearing a story about some guy who fought one. Alright, guys, what should we say for the outro? Everyone eats bugs yearly. Yeah, I hear there's like a statistic where over the course of our life we eat over 1 million spiders. 1 million. That's a truthful statement I'm saying. In fact, sometimes you wake up sleepwalking, you just like find nests, and you just pull spiders out of their nest. Bug ASMR would probably be a lot of screaming. Do bugs scream? Svein, we have to We have to make a bug ASMR. If anybody has an ASMR channel, creepy crawly bugs crawling around in your ears and head, ASMR. Le chirp. Le chirp, chirp, chirp. They did a study. That's not true. We don't eat spiders. Spiders are scared of humans. You're telling me that not over 1 million spiders crawl into our mouth and we just go to town on them? Oh, people with whom they're crawling would be screaming. Not if they're a freaking ASMR champ. Original Ashrella says, did you do a story about the blind woman with all the black windows? I don't recall, to be honest. It sounds not familiar, to be real with ya. Oh yeah, you also eat bugs that get canned and processed at food plants. Dude, one time I was eating a can of corn, dumped out the corn. In the corn was a legit grub. It wasn't alive or anything like that, but it was in there, and it kind of fucked me up as a kid. I was like, what the fuck is that shit? What the fuck is that shit right there? Fucking bug, dude. Read it in AP Literature, I believe, and it's a horrific tale of a woman who slowly turns into a roach. Oh, that kind of sounds like a Kafka-esque situation. The metamorphosis. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say about the spiders, actually, at the end here. Spartan, I saw your ending suggestion, and I appreciate it, but I'm not going to do it because I got a better one here for you. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a shit. If you got a shitty, be sure to shit in my shit box. Okay. If you got a story, be sure. Fuck. How do I say the word sure? If you got a sure. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends, and remember, you eat over 1 million spiders while you sleep in your lifetime. Oh fuck, that doesn't sound right. Thanks so much, friends, and remember, you eat over 1 million spiders while you wait, fuck. Thanks so much, friends, and remember, in your lifetime, you eat over 1 million spiders while you sleep. There we go. Spain, there is merch. If you go to shop.spreadshirt.com/letsread, it's also located down below in the description. Oh yeah, thank you, Gothic, for linking that. Appreciate that. Garrett Wiseman with a 5 says it was being scared who did the story of the blind woman in the black windows. Oh, okay, nice. Thank you, Garrett. Spiders. Thank you. But, guys, love ya. Thank you so much for being here. Hope to stream again on Thursday, but this video will come out in its edited form, in its most pure form, tomorrow at 7 p.m. on YouTube. And then you can also, if you're a dollar donator on Patreon, you can get the MP3s all early and edited and beautiful for only $1 a month, which is pretty dope. Early access. And, you know, like, that's pretty sick. Join my Discord and stuff, because, like, sometimes we just freaking, like, chill and shit. So, that's pretty cool. You guys might even catch me tonight chilling in the Discord, arguing with people about nothing, just for the sake of yelling. Just kidding. We're all very sweet to one another. Back rubs all around. Yeah, definitely check for grubs in your corn. Good point, Margaret. Hey, the Baka Boy 2000 with the 10 says, your voice is awesome. It's helped me sleep at night. And eating over 1,000,000 spiders creeps me out. Thanks. I don't think I'll be able to sleep anymore. Yeah. Just try, you know, thank you for the 10 first off, but just, you know, try to tape your mouth shut, because if you don't reach a certain quota of spiders, your body goes looking for them. That's the weird part about this statistic, is that it's like there's some sort of thing that your body uses those spiders for. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's just part of evolution. You know how it goes. Love you guys. See you on the flibbity floobity flop. Flibbida. Flabada blah.